Hello, my name is Jonas from Gears from Breakfast and welcome to A Hat in Time Chapter 2. I'll be going through some of the characters and different environments in here and talk a bit about the design process of these. So, first of all, when you start the level, you're told to stay on the path. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the indie game The Path, but this is very much inspired by it. And this really fits our design decisions with the collectathons, because we're instantly giving the player a path to walk on, so that people who might not want to explore can instantly walk along. But also by telling people to stay on the path, they'll actually do the opposite. So playtesters always kind of branch from the path and begin to explore the environment, which is perfect. As you can see, we've kind of left a trail of collectibles to sort of lead them off into that place over there, which I'll be getting to in a minute. So the character we have here is Tim's friend. Tim is the CEO of Time, and Tim's friend is sort of his imaginary friend. Tim's friend is actually the character who brings you here. I won't go into too many details about him for the moment because there might be some spoilers involved. So let's just move along deeper into the forest. So these are the fire spirits, and there's actually a reason we're introducing these first, instead of going straight to the other more darker and weirder creatures. So these guys are very jolly. They're easy to relate to because they're stuck in a terrible situation where they're praying to a god who's mercilessly striking them down. But they're jolly, so they're very easy to relate to. But they kind of set the mood that okay, something's wrong in this place. But it's okay, it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. They're happy. These characters don't really play a role much in the first few acts, but later on they're going to cause a lot of trouble, and you'll see why they will when we get to the village. Right now they're kind of flat characters. They're only a 2D, what is referred to as a billboard. But later on we're going to animate them properly and give them a proper mesh and break them and such. All of Chapter 2 is pretty much a Shane Frost kind of world. Shane and I share this mutual kind of interest in these twisted characters. It's very fun and interesting to explore a sort of twisted world, whereas Chapter 1 is a very sort of cute and adorable, and even though the mafia is there, it's still very relatable. This one is it's very different, so that's why it comes in as Chapter 2, because we can't just throw you into this weird world without sort of making you relate to Hatkit and all the other characters first. So here we're going to meet the first sort of creature in this world, well, the first sort of weird and dark creature in this world. He's actually called the Moonjumper, and he lives in the horizon. He's sort of stuck there. It's a bit of his prison. It's sort of ambiguous why he's stuck there. We like to keep that a bit of a secret. But he's stuck up there and trying to get Hatkit to come up and join him in his prison throughout the game. And here we have the Snatcher. This character is actually very much designed by Shane Frost. He did the initial concept art and I sort of said okay to that and went in and made it a full character. This guy snatches everything you have. As you can see, he's holding one of the time objects, so everything you've sort of accomplished in the first chapter he sort of grabbed that from you. So you have a real incentive to sort of get those time objects back. As you can see, his speech bubble is a bit of purple. A lot of characters in this world have that, and that means they're sort of living here by default. They're sort of born here, really. That becomes important later on for story reasons, but I won't spoil that for now. Let's move on. So what we are moving into here is the Subcon village, and it's the first thing it introduces us to is the Toilet of Doom. I'll get more into that in a second. But the village is actually designed mostly by Luigi Lucarelli. And as you can see, it's very bright, it's very colorful, which is a delight, because usually when you think of a spooky or dark forest, it's going to be this very monotone dark green, but we decided to sort of have a lot of color and a lot of life to this environment, and it really makes it stand out and be just a very joyous place to be. The creatures living here are called the forest dwellers. I have a really difficult time sort of pronouncing that, but I'll put annotation on. And as you can see, all these characters have their own little mask. They're hiding behind theirs and saying, and the masks sort of resemble different animals. All these masks are designed by Shane Frost, except for two. This one, the fox, is designed by me, and this one over here, called the Metal. So those two are designed by me, the rest are by Shane Frost, and he's a genius at mask designs. Later on in the game, Hatkit will be able to equip some of these. The fox, for instance, will give her the ability to sort of see things she wouldn't be able to normally see. But yes, the village is very inhabited. As you can see, there are these people looking from inside the houses, and when you get close, they shut their door. So, very cool place. There are also the enemies here. There are these plants. They sort of spit out flies and eat them. So this guy mentions that a bell tolls, and it does indeed, and that becomes important later on. But no spoilers this time around. The sign's also very depressing. It's funny because even though this place is very sort of moody and well, depressing, it's also one of the more lively places in the game. Just because there's so much emotion filled in, it becomes very interesting. Okay, so I think we've seen most I can offer to show in the village without too much spoilers. So we'll begin to go into the Toilet of Doom area. Okay, so we've opened the gates and now we can go towards the toilet. So the Toilet of Doom is actually one of the playtesters' favorite parts of the Subcon Forest. It plays on your expectations, and you don't want to go inside the toilet, despite what it suggests. So there's actually a puzzle here, but I can't unfortunately show it because I know a lot of you care about spoilers, so I won't be doing that. But I think that might be all I can show at the moment for the Subcon Forest. Please check out Ahead in Time on Kickstarter and on Steam Greenlight, and I will have more to show in the following days. Regards.